Have you ever heard the story of Hannah? It is based on the book of 1 Samuel in the Old Testament of the Bible. Hannah lived in the hill country of Ephraim with her husband Elkanah. But despite their love, Hannah carried a heavy burden in her heart. She was barren. In those days, not being able to have children was seen as a great disgrace and often brought shame to women. To make matters worse, Elkanah had another wife, Peninnah, who had many children and relentlessly mocked Hannah for her inability to conceive. Every year, the family traveled to Shiloh to worship at the tabernacle, where they sought the presence of God. During these visits, Hannah felt even more isolated. While Peninnah flaunted her children, Hannah wept bitterly in silence. Her pain was deep, but she refused to let the bitterness take root in her soul. Instead, she turned her anguish into prayer. One day, overcome with grief, Hannah made a vow before God. O Lord of hosts, if you will indeed look on the affliction of your servant and remember me, and not forget your servant, but will give her a male child, then I will dedicate him to the Lord all the days of his life. Hannah's prayer wasn't like ordinary prayers. It came from the depths of her broken spirit. The Bible says she prayed so fervently that Eli, the high priest, thought she was drunk because her lips moved silently while tears streamed down her face. But when he realized she was pouring out her soul to God, he blessed her, saying, "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant your petition." For months after that fateful visit to Shiloh, Hannah waited patiently, clinging to hope. And then one day her prayers were answered. She conceived and gave birth to a son, whom she named Samuel, meaning heard by God. From the moment Samuel entered the world, Hannah knew he belonged not just to her, but also to God. She had promised him to the Lord, and true to her word, she prepared herself for the hardest decision any mother could ever make: to hand over her beloved child to serve in the tabernacle. But Hannah didn't rush this process. She nursed Samuel until he was old enough to be weaned, cherishing every moment with her precious boy. She held him close, sang lullabies to him, and taught him about God's goodness. Every laugh, every cry, every milestone became a cherished memory because she knew their time together was fleeting. Yet through it all, Hannah remained steadfast in her commitment to fulfill her vow. When Samuel was finally old enough to leave home, likely around 3 or 4 years old, Hannah kept her promise. With trembling hands and a heart full of both joy and sorrow, she brought him to the tabernacle in Shiloh. There, she presented him to Eli the priest, explaining the vow she had made to God. Imagine the scene: a young mother standing before the aged priest, placing her only son into his care. It must have been excruciating for Hannah to walk away from her little boy, knowing she might see him only once a year during their family pilgrimage to Shiloh. But Hannah didn't come empty-handed. She brought with her a handmade robe, stitched with love, which she intended to bring to Samuel every year during their visits. This simple yet profound gesture showed her continued devotion, not just to her son, but to God himself. Each year, as Samuel grew in wisdom and stature under Eli's guidance, Hannah faithfully returned, bringing her gift and watching from afar as her son served the Lord. Samuel thrived in the tabernacle. Though still young, he quickly earned a reputation for his dedication and obedience. Meanwhile, Hannah bore 3 more sons and 2 daughters, evidence of God's blessings flowing into her life. Yet her greatest joy remained, seeing Samuel grow into the man God had called him to be. Years passed, and Samuel became a prophet, a man greatly used by God to lead Israel during a time of spiritual decline. Meanwhile, Hannah experienced God's blessings in other ways too. She bore 3 more sons and 2 daughters, yet her greatest legacy was Samuel, the boy she gave back to God. Through her obedience, God transformed her pain into purpose and her loss into lasting impact. Hannah's story reminds us that God honors those who honor him. Her selfless act of giving Samuel to God resulted in generations of blessing, not only for her family, but for the entire nation of Israel. Even today, her song of praise, found in 1 Samuel 2, echoes through history, declaring God's faithfulness and power. Friends, Hannah's story isn't just ancient history, it's a timeless lesson for all of us. Life may throw challenges your way, situations that feel unbearable or unfair, but don't lose hope. Just like Hannah, you can turn to God in prayer and trust him to work everything out for good. If this story touched your heart, I want to encourage you to do something right now. Take a moment to reflect on what God might be asking you to surrender to him. Is it a dream, a relationship, a fear? Whatever it is, step out in faith and say, Lord, I give this to you. Trust that he will honor your commitment and use it for his glory. And hey, if you found inspiration in this video, hit that subscribe button and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Let's spread the message of hope and faith together. Until next time, remember, God hears your prayers and he's always faithful.